Hello, hello, and welcome to the Rock and Roll Podcast. I'm your host, John Harris, and today on Rock and Roll Podcast, we have Tempest Rising, and they've been releasing a couple of singles so far this year, with some more singles promised, maybe even a collective body of work at some point. Right now, we're being joined by James to share some more information about the singles that are currently released, the singles that are coming up, and what may be coming down the pipeline. The big honking question of what's next for Tempest Rising as they rise, they go up. The only direction is up, James. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man. It's awesome.
Absolutely great to have you on. Now, I completely dig your room. I like the guitars. They're in there.
Yep. All the posters, all the gigs we played. So,
yeah. So is that like a wall of achievement for you? Is it accolades?
Yeah. Look, a lot of it's well, majority of it is local shows and stuff like that, but there's a few international shows there and national around Australia as well. So I like to think we've done pretty well for ourselves. There's always room for improvement, and always chances to get out there and do stuff. But yeah, definitely for me personally, being something, I started, I guess, this project nearly 10 years ago, and probably obviously in the last probably 4 or 5 years now, we've gotten some pretty good traction and some really good local supports, and got to travel over to Japan and through to Europe as well. And I guess with everything going on in the world, it's been a bit frustrating, but we just keep the wheels turning and hope for the best, and then carry on, pick up where we left off. End of 2019, I guess, and get out there and play some more shows and do some and go on tour again and have a bit of fun.
Okay, tell us about that. Where did we leave off in 2019? What's on hold? Because it looks like you guys are still working. Looks like you guys are still busy, as busy as you can be.
Yeah, busy as we can be. Exactly. We're quite fortunate being here in Australia, and fortunate in Western Australia, where we pretty much locked out all the other states, and we were, COVID free, I guess, for predominantly most of this time. There's only been a couple of, mini lockdowns we've had here and there with cases coming in, with obviously having people coming in internationally, and the hotel quarantine stuff we've got going on, that's got a little bit of a leak here and there, so it's a bit frustrating, but we're probably the most fortunate state out of Australia that live shows have still been playing. And I mean, even some of the places over east have only just started going back to 3/4 capacity venues and being able to kind of stand up. A lot of them were seated shows and stuff like that as well. So we were very fortunate that only the very early shows that we not that we had played, but a fair amount of early shows that were able to play when it all kind of dissipated. They were all sit-down shows. Luckily, our first show back wasn't seated, which was good. So, and I guess it was good. It was a bit of a refresher, I guess, for people to kind of take for granted what live music is, and people come out and have a good time. Some people probably forgot about live music and live bands, and the crowds got a bit more bigger. So I was seeing some faces we don't really see around, especially the local scene and whatnot. So. Which was good, but I guess going prior to that, 2019, we did 6 weeks in Europe, all self-funded, toured most of Eastern Europe. That was awesome fun. That was really great, and wasn't too long. I think we were back for 2 weeks, and then we did a couple of run of shows in Japan, and then come back, and we had pretty much plans for going back to Europe last year, and the plans are going to America this year. And I think back to Japan again this year as well, last year as well. But everything's kind of just put to the wayside at the moment. We made the most of 2020 by writing music and keeping busy. And I guess that's the best thing you can do, is just keep active on socials and play shows when you can, where you can, and just keep the wheels in motion so people don't forget about you.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I forgot about you for a second there, James. Just kidding. Okay, so you mentioned a lot of things there. What was your favorite show out of all of that, if there is a favorite show?
And
then speaking of Eastern Europe, I have a really bad joke for you.
Well, I reckon one of the out of all that, it's probably a tie. Probably the last show we played at the moment, which would have been in March, was like a mini festival thing here in Perth. All local acts. It's a festival called Sleigh Fest, and they usually do it once a year. Usually just two stages in one of the prominent clubs in Perth, where most of the international and national acts come, and they usually get one international act and a couple of national acts. But obviously, because of all travelling and all that, they couldn't do that, so it was all local. And yeah, that was awesome. That was we reading some of the reviews of the show and all that. Yeah, we had the biggest crowd there, and a lot of people dug our music and all that as well, which was awesome. Apart from that, the other thing that comes to mind is playing in Russia. That was awesome for something that we had we'd helped and pre-planned ourselves, and like I said, it was off our own back. There was no record label or any funding like that. It was all off our own. So we went through, did it DIY, I guess you could call it, and we didn't know what to expect. It was a very hard time getting stuff organised to get into Russia. So we honestly didn't know what to expect. Could have been playing to no one. And it turned out to be a really, really awesome night. It was probably a couple of hundred people there, and it was a good mix of the bands that were put on there. The promoter was awesome, took us around, treated us like royalty, really. So it was that's something that sticks in the memory for a very long time.
Okay, beautiful, mister. You could say it was a real awakening for you.
yeah, you could.
Okay, now take us through these tracks that you said you wrote some tracks in 2020, not necessarily intending them to be a part of a collective body of work, but at least to just write and get some things out there. So tell us about, was it Downfall that happened first and then Awakening?
Yes, correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is Downfall?
I was trying to remember what it all was about. Vince, the vocalist, he usually has a pretty good spiel on what he writes. He writes a lot on personal experiences, and I guess a lot of his lyrics he writes about, I guess, being a musician or being frowned upon for being a musician, and not conforming to society and getting your normal day-to-day job and all that kind of stuff. So he's pretty tight-lipped on a lot of his stuff. We kind of just write the music and then he just writes the lyrics to it, and that sounds good. So but like the direction for the songs we wrote, so yeah, Downfall was the first one. That was more, I guess, comparing it to our previous works, we went for more of a I guess more of I'd say commercial kind of sound to it, but a bit more easy accessible to people outside of the, I guess, metal genre. So yeah, just a bit more not as fast paced as what we usually do, I guess, but it's still an awesome song. And then you go to Awakening is more truly our sound and what we're about, and just fast paced riffs and just head banging and having a good time. So the third and fourth tracks we actually did, the third track we did was an acoustic version of one of our singles off our previous album called Ghosts. So it's kind of slightly rewritten. It was we were mainly just gonna redo an acoustic version of it, and then Vince loved it so much he decided to kind of rewrite the lyrics for it as well. So we've called it Ghosts number 2. Oh. But still under the basic melody of it is practically the same. It's just acoustic, and we've arranged it acoustically. But yeah, Vince has gone for a bit more of a different vocal patterns and different lyrics to that. And then Kingdom is the last song that we've written, and that one was pretty much not even complete. We went into the studio to record it. It was kind of a last minute thing. So that one's that's pretty left field, that song, compared to the other songs. It's still us, but it's definitely got a bit more different elements compared to those two. So look, I'm hoping to get Ghosts out in the next month, and Kingdom will probably be under a month after that.
Okay, so by the time this airs, Ghosts will probably be out there, and then shortly thereafter, everybody out in rock metal podcast land, Kingdom will be on its way. Now, you mentioned arranging something for acoustic. What is involved in that? You can't just take the song and play it on a grandpa's guitars?
Oh, you can, but it doesn't have the same effect. Daniel, the guitarist, he likes to noodle on the acoustic guitar quite a lot. So he just pretty much just rearranged the whole song, and it's like you can still tell it's that song, but it's just little things here and there, finger picking on guitars and just kind of dissecting chords and stuff, and the way you play them, just making it more exotic, I guess you could so to speak. And obviously the drums as well, we toned it down a bit, and that song's got a pretty heavy breakdown in it, so we kind of just changed the vibe up on the breakdown. Still played pretty much the same pattern, but just different harmonies, and just with the drums behind it, it makes it a completely different song. So yeah, well, we've done a few acoustic gigs here and there. We usually like to just jump on like random open mic nights and whatnot. A few of the guys have some relationships with a couple of the guys that run open mic nights and stuff, and whenever they get a free spot here and there, we usually just jump on and just for a bit of fun, play some covers and have a good time. So they're the times we've kind of just played our songs acoustically with no arrangements. But we after doing a couple of those, we really wanted to kind of sit down and rearrange a couple of songs. And Ghost was the first one we did, and then yeah, just with the timing, and we wanted to release these new songs. We thought, well, let's chuck an acoustic one in there as well for a bit of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did that throw a curveball for fans? Because I mean, I imagine, or is that something you just guys do often enough? It's not a curveball.
It will be a curveball. Yeah, we've kind of hinted at it with previous posts on social media, and I guess yeah, we haven't kept it a full secret. We've said it's an acoustic version of it, so we wanted to get the first two songs out of the way, and then kind of throw the curveball in, and then finish off with Kingdom being probably a heavier song, and another song out of left field. It's almost like two curveballs to an extent. So
wow,
we did. So we no change up there. Two curveballs, yeah.
That's how you get an awakening. But if you aren't really awake, then you'll have a downfall because you'll have gotten hit in the head, and then you'll be a ghost twice because it was two curveballs, so ghost 2, and then you'll have arrived in the kingdom, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully.
That's good wordplay.
Wow, very cool. Now, interesting question, because I imagine a lot of bands write songs on acoustic instruments, acoustic guitars, pianos, whatever, and then eventually later on translate it to, the amps and the guitars and whatever. Do you guys write on acoustic? Like, is that?
Not very rarely actually, unless we're just mucking around and just having a bit of fun and something comes of it, then yeah. But no, we get together and either in the rehearsal space or at someone's house, and while we're doing like pre-production and recording demos, and we just come in with an idea and elaborate from there really. And sometimes you've got complete songs out that people bring in. Other times just got a riff, and then you just go, oh, that goes with another idea I've got, or you got a bit of a vision of where you want it to go, and everyone puts in their 2 cents, and yeah, that's how the songs eventuate. Really, it's pretty organic. It's not, we don't really go into it too forceful with a plan, like we're going to go in and write the heaviest riff possible or the fastest song possible, thing like that. We just go, I got a riff, I got an idea, let's go on it, and pretty much set no limits, and I mean, if at the end of the day, if it doesn't sound any good, you just put it aside and start working on something else. And then sometimes you can kind of use that song you made as a bit of a bank of riffs and pinch bits and pieces together there and see what works well and see what doesn't work. So it's pretty organic.
I'm gonna say if it's heavy on acoustic, it's heavy, baby.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
you can get that breakdown if you can get people to be like, "What?" and it's an acoustic guitar, then
yeah.
You don't even need the sub drop. Who cares? No. Sub drops are for bands who aren't heavy. Okay. Speaking of sub drops, maybe I don't know. I'm looking at the music video right now for Awakening, where we have this guy going into a theater by himself, arms full of ice cream and popcorn, and he's eating it ferociously. He's eating more popcorn ferociously. Awakening, is this about consciousness? Are we trying to suggest that this man is unconscious?
No. Have you watched the film clip from start to finish?
Well, I'm checking out the part. So the short answer is yes. The long answer is it may have been 24 hours since I've last done that, and I have 10 interviews today, so I'm trying to piece it all together. But James, I value you as a person. So I'm actually watching the band. So obviously it's not a movie theater, it's a band theater. And I'm watching everybody, and this dude's rocking out, and it's obviously COVID because he's socially distanced from everybody else, and he's staying seated, and it's Australia, so you guys are allowed to play these shows. What else is there? Trying to find you in the mix, but there's so much hair. Nope, that's not you. Wait, is that you? Nope, that's not you. Is that you? No. I'm looking for the Flying V. Where's the Flying V? What are you playing in here?
Yeah, Flying V, yeah.
Is there? Okay, there you are. There you are. I see you now. The cameraman really liked what we'll call the other guitar player. You know, the one that doesn't really need to be there. The other guy who's not that important. Yeah. It must have been cold that day. Everybody's wearing like a sweater or a long sleeve shirt.
No, I think we just changed up the uniform, the attire. I think we just went for something different. So it was actually we had to hire that place out, and they were actually glad we had to hire it because obviously of COVID and stuff like that, the theatre wasn't really getting used too often. So they were more than happy for us to do it. So which was good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you had asked me if I'd watched the whole video clip. Take me through it.
Well, basically, the twist is at the end, really. So at first glance, people think that it's just some random old guy watching us and rocking out. It's not till the end that you work out that actually we're all chained together, and we're pretty much playing for his pleasure. And he says again at the end there, and then you kind of piece it together that we're actually slaves to him.
Okay.
The whole time.
Okay, that's deep. Now I'm sad on the inside, James.
we come up with a different couple of alternate endings for her, and that was pretty last minute. And but we thought of doing a bit of a joke one and having us all kind of dressed up in formal regal attire and sitting spaced out in the theatre and kind of cheering ourselves on at the end. Mm-hmm. As a bit of a joke. Vince, the vocalist, he actually, that guy he knows has worked with Vince does a bit of musical theatre and stuff as well on the side of being in a band. So he's worked with that old guy, James, who's quite well known around Perth and in the music theatre scene and all that stuff. So it was he just asked him, you want to come along and be a prop in the music video, and he's like, yeah, no problems at all. So we captured him quite well.
I agree. Okay, so you've got, I'm looking at your gear here, is that a dual rec?
Yes, I got a dual rec. Yep.
Okay, and then up. Okay, DiMarzio's.
Seymour's in that one, I think. Oh, it's not even on my wall.
I was looking to see if I could find, because Seymour Duncans say Seymour Duncan on them, don't they? Or am I wrong? Am I making?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It should be. Yeah, I don't even have the guitar out. I think it's should be Seymour's. Yeah. Seymour Duncans. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. What's your set? What are you rocking there?
I can't even remember, to be honest. I honestly cannot remember. Could find out for you.
Sure. For some reason, Spain is calling me on my phone, and I don't know why, James.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Spain would be a nice place to be at the moment.
Perhaps.
If it was okay, if everyone's okay.
Yeah, I guess it depends on with whom you speak. The best place, I think, to be in the world is Australia, and probably the place that has the least amount of restrictions that I'm aware of from having chatted with people is Queensland. Am I right?
Yeah. So, look, On the east coast, yeah, Queensland, like WA. Here in WA, we've been pretty. Like I said, we pretty much locked off the rest of the country and went about our own business for 6 months without any problems.
Wow.
Much to the disgust of all the other states and all that. But
of course,
we are. Yeah, we're look, not to sound high and mighty, but we fund most of the country. So with our mining and transportation and all that stuff. So a lot of it comes from us. So yeah, it made sense for us to be locked away from everyone and keep everyone afloat.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then in downfall, we've got Vince running around with a burrito. It looks like
kebab.
A kebab. Okay.
Yep, kebab. Yep.
My next was going to be a giant sub sandwich. Okay.
Yeah. So this clip's a bit of I guess a bit of fun really. We never really did a fun clip, I guess you could call it. So yeah, you can see cameos from all of us throughout the clip. Just little bits and pieces here and there of us being drunk as well, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it's all a story about a drunken night walking through that part of town's called Northbridge. That's pretty much the clubbing circuit of Perth.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us have been in that state, walking aimlessly through Northbridge with a kebab in our hands. So a lot of people can relate to it, that's for sure. And yeah, just a bit of fun. It just shows that he takes ages and ages to get to the top of a car park there, and it kind of splits between us as musicians and then the drunken versions of us playing instruments, playing, I guess, not instruments, but yeah, bits of garbage, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there is a section where you guys have real instruments, it looks like.
Yeah.
I can see you have a Marshall cab. So unique combination, dual rec going into a Marshall cab.
Yes, yeah, and I got it's the Dave Mustaine Marshall cab, so it's got the V30 speakers in it, so a bit more low end than the standard Celestians that the standard cab has.
Yeah,
which I have one of those. I have one of those as well, but yeah, I bought the cab off a friend of mine, and he was selling it dirt cheap, and I was like, no worries, I'll take it.
Okay, cool. So I'm doing a little recap here, James. We chatted about life in Australia and why you guys are the heartbeat of Australia. We chatted about traveling around the globe, Eastern Europe, Japan. We chatted about, and this was obviously before COVID.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how, the world changes, so to speak, when traveling comes back in. I've got my own predictions. And then, what else did we chat about today? We chatted about your gear. We chatted about music videos, musical theater a bit. Yep. Do you guys have music videos coming for the other two tracks as well? Yes,
they will be. Yep.
Wow, a lot of work, baby.
Yeah, it was. We kept busy.
Good. Okay. Well, I believe that concludes all my questions. Is there anything that I missed, James, that you were really hoping that I would bring up?
No, you covered it all. So it's that's as much as I can think. It's past my bedtime now. It's past midnight. So I got work in the morning. So that's as much as I can get. Thanks for having a chat. It was awesome. Good to reminisce and chat about all this stuff. So I enjoy it.
Beautiful. Awesome.